Hello folks, and a warm welcome. You're tuned in to my meditation, the Outdoors series. My name's Guy Cross, and I'll be introducing you to some interesting people with some interesting ways of using the outdoors to help sustain a healthy frame of mind. With being an outdoor lover myself, and using the outdoors to take care of my own mental health, I've always been curious as to how other people use outdoor hobbies and activities to take care of themselves, and that curiosity led me to the birth of this podcast series. My guests will talk about their favourite outdoor hobby, and we'll go into depth of how it helps them find peace of mind. Hopefully one of, if not many of the hobbies within this series will help you, or at the very least inspire you. And that's the whole aim of these podcasts, to fill you with ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of before, and to hear some positive, encouraging, real-life stories from my guests. Sometimes, hearing someone else's perspective on a hobby or activity gives you a fresh new way of looking at it, which can't be a bad thing, right? So without further ado, let's meet this week's guest. Hello everyone. So today I'm sat here with Louisa and Lauren, aka Lou and Lol. They're a couple that are based in Nottingham. Lauren suffers with Asperger syndrome and Tourette syndrome, while Louisa suffers from anxiety. They both love walking, and especially in the Peak District. Louisa has a huge passion for music and has a BTEC in music technology, and she used to DJ back in the day. And Lauren has a huge interest in history and gained a degree in history at the Nottingham Trent Uni. She's a huge animal lover and finds the paranormal world very interesting. So, hello, Louisa and Lauren, aka Lou and Lol. How are you today?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good, thank you. Thank you very much for having us on the podcast.
Oh no, thank you for taking the time out to do this for me. I know it's a big ask, so yeah, thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem.
And would you rather me call you Lou and Lol or Louisa and Lauren?
Lou and Lol's fine.
Lou and Lol. Okay, cool. So when did you guys get into the outdoors and how?
So it was a few years ago, but how it began was we started visiting towns and cities initially. So we'd just jump on the train and, go somewhere for the day. But then it started to change more into countrysides and rural places.
Okay.
So where we go to a place called Derbyshire quite a lot. And there's Derbyshire Peak District and there's Derbyshire Dales. So the smaller sort of scale of Derbyshire is places like Matlock, Cromford, Ambergate, and that's where we sort of started in Derbyshire. So, but once we'd done those walks, we then gradually moved on to the bigger walks like the Peak District, Mantor, Castleton, the Great Ridge, Win Hill, places like that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got many options around you there, and like you say, it's good to have walks for different levels as well. Like you say, you started off with the easy ones and then you kind of went on to the bigger ones.
Yes, yeah, so that's good, yeah. So sort of worked our way up, really.
Nice. And what's been your favourite place so far?
I'd say that my favourite was probably Win Hill in Derbyshire.
Okay.
I mean, it was one hell of a steep hill, I'll tell you that. I mean, we looked at it and we thought, it doesn't look too bad from where we stood. But about halfway up, we were both out of breath, wasn't we, Lol?
Yeah.
And, but when you get to the top, the views are amazing. And you can see Mantor and you can see all that area. So yeah, that was a really great day.
Yeah, nice. That's a part of the world I haven't been to actually, and it's definitely one area that I do want to get to, and maybe this summer will be the time,
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it'll be nice. So was there like a pivotal moment for you getting into the outdoors, or was it just like a natural thing that happened?
It was more of a natural step, I'd say. So as I say, it went from the towns and the cities, then into the more rural places. So yeah, it was just, I think we just thought, there's some walks there. We Googled the walks in Matlock and Cromford, and then we realised that these places weren't as far away as we thought. So, in one day we could do a walk from Cromford to Matlock and somewhere else, which was really handy.
Yeah. And just going back to what I was saying in the introduction there as well, you both suffer from, Lol with Asperger's and Tourette's, and yourself with anxiety. How is that when with hiking? I mean, is that really good for your for your, for your mental peace, for your mental wellness? Does it really help you?
Well, it's sort of, at first it's a double-edged sword because I've got Asperger's and Tourette's. It's associated with OCD, so Louisa has to prep the travel, like buy train tickets, because it's just too stressful for me. And then it's a bit of a struggle to get out of the house because of the OCD. I've got to like do security checks, like check things so many times. So it can be a bit of a challenge just to get out the door. But once we've gone through all that and then completed the walk, it's just a brilliant feeling.
Yeah. And I know as being a carer, I've worked with people that have Asperger's, and I know how difficult it can be for you to kind of even just get out of the door. Like you say, you've got your ticks, you've got things you need to check so many times, and so it's quite an upheaval for you to actually get out of the house. I mean, the regular person would just they wouldn't even think about that, would they? But
No.
When you've worked with people or have a relative or a friend that kind of has Asperger's, then you understand how difficult it can be to kind of get yourself motivated, I guess, as well. But like you say, once you get out there and everything, it just makes you feel like $1 million, right?
Yeah, it's the feeling of achievement. You've got to the end of your goal, so yeah. Yeah.
And for you, Lou, how do you deal with things? I mean, you must be a very patient person. I mean, fair play to you. I know how hard it must be sometimes for you. So how do you deal with things?
Well, I think patience is the key, really.
Yeah.
So as Lauren was saying, when we do go out, it's down for me to do the security checks and things like that, book the tickets. So it's very important that I'm organised in doing that and trying to make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible, keeping my eye on the train times, just little things like that, really.
Sure.
And I find that if you do organise things and you prepare, you've got more chance of having a better day, because there has been times where we've sort of like rushed out, nearly missing the train and things because things have taken so long. But yeah, it's just patience and planning, really.
Yeah, and like you just said, the more of that you do, the more at peace with your mind, I guess you are, right? Thinking, everything's going to go okay, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you've got quite an interesting, you've got something in common with myself, actually, with regarding your hobby while you're walking. Do you want to let the listeners know what your hobby is while you're hiking around?
Yeah, so it is vlogging. So just recording our travels wherever we go. Take the camera with us and getting everything, on there, so we can put some good videos together for everyone and show people the beauty of the outdoors and the nature and things like that.
Yeah, no, that's great. So you've got yourself a little YouTube channel, haven't you?
We have, yeah. So it originally started off as Lou's Travels, but then we decided, because obviously Lauren comes with me and we go places together, we thought, well, why don't we just sort of come together in that sense as well? So then we made it into Lou and Lowell's Travels. So it wasn't just me and my own. Lauren came on board, and yeah, we just started going around places and videoing things. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. And one thing I like about your channel actually is that it's not just showing like beautiful places. It also touches on you two as well. It's quite a personal kind of vlog, isn't it? Where you talk about your, the Asperger's and the Tourette's and the anxiety and how you deal with things. And I did watch one video in particular. I think you sent me the link actually. It's one about Lol and her Tourette's and Asperger's, just explaining how things can be difficult to get out of the house and stuff. And it's just a really good insight, a really good thing to see. Because like I said before, not many people would see that side of how difficult some people find it to even get out of the house, So yeah. I love the way you've kind of blended the two in, so people get a really good insight into your lives and also the places that you go, So it's a really nice fusion of what you guys are up to and the places you go.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's sort of the message that we're trying to put across. We want people to obviously see where we go and can see for themselves, and maybe even through watching our channel they'll find new places that they can go. And I think especially at the minute it's important because a lot of us are still in lockdown. So I think just having an option of a virtual tour, is great for people. But on the other side as well, we are trying to balance it out with us as people as well. So we want to sort of, as you say, get a fusion and a balance of both those elements, really. So about us, but also about the places we go.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I think I think your channel will be so beneficial to people that do have Asperger's, Tourette's, and anxiety, because it just goes to show you guys are kind of getting out there and doing things, and how much it's helping you with your mental wellness. So I think it's a great promotion for people to kind of do the same thing as well.
Yeah, definitely. And if it appeals to people and if it inspires people, then that's a good sign, and we're definitely doing what we've set out to achieve.
Absolutely, and I'll be leaving the link to your YouTube channel in the show notes, so the listeners can tap in if they want to and check out what you're doing and the places you go and get to know you guys a little bit more. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Cool. So has there been a time in your lives, either you can answer this separately or together, where you've been really quite low in life, and you've used your hiking and your videoing to your benefit for your mental wellness?
Well, yeah, last year, unfortunately, in August, we lost my nana. It was quite sudden.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And obviously the whole family was very down. It'd taken a toll, not only mentally but physically. And we had a holiday booked for Derbyshire in the September, so we managed to get away for a week and just relax and escape reality, really. And we had time to reflect on what we'd just been through with the help of nature and the beautiful sounds of nature. It was very calming and gave us some peace after such a hard period of time.
Yeah, no, that's really good, and it's so, you can just get out there and, like you just said then, you just listen to the sounds and just the birds and the wildlife. It just brings you back to square one almost, doesn't it? It brings you back.
Yeah.
It just makes you into that peaceful frame of mind and just lets them worries kind of drift off for a little while, doesn't it? And give you that peace of mind, even if it's just for that hour or so that you're out there.
Yeah, you can just leave it all behind for a short period of time.
Yeah, exactly. And why would you recommend your specific activity to other people?
So, I mean, walking has a lot of benefits. So it can elevate your mood. Obviously, it can, help improve fitness levels. And the NHS actually do say that even just a brisk 10-minute walk a day has lots of health benefits. Not to mention the fresh air. Also for me as well, I don't know about anybody else, but it actually does improve my sleep. So I'll go for a walk in the evening sometimes, and when it is time for bed, I'm usually out like a light. So it's really good in that aspect as well.
Yeah.
And obviously it's free and it's simple. So, even if it's just walking down the road or walking around your area for 10, 20 minutes a day, it doesn't really matter where you are as long as you're moving. And if you are going to do it, I'd probably say try and make a habit and a routine. So, personally, my routine is I'll get up in the morning and I'll go on a quick sort of 10, 15-minute walk, perhaps another one in the afternoon and then one in the evening. And honestly, it really does help, especially when it comes to, anxiety and things. It really does help you just to get a breather. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's really cool. And like you just said then, it's free to do. You can just get out there, and the majority of the time, providing you're able to, you can just get outdoors, like you say, even if it's just a walk around the local neighbourhood.
Yeah.
It's better than sitting indoors kind of dwelling on things, isn't it, generally?
It is, definitely, honestly. And when you're out there and you're walking and your blood's pumping, and it's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
Yeah. And do you guys get out there in all weathers?
We do. I mean, we don't, if it's, really chucking it down with rain, then we probably won't. But if it's just a bit of drizzle, a little bit of rain, then yeah, we don't mind that at all. Obviously, you've got to be prepared for instant weather changes as well. I mean, it's especially in a place like Derbyshire where the weather can, change within a few seconds. As an example, one time we went up Mam Tor and it was a perfectly dry day. Got to the top and we was about 5 minutes in and it started to rain, and we just literally just saw this rain just like come from one side, and then we're thinking, oh god, it's coming up. But no, it's part of the experience as well. So don't let a bit of rain put you off.
Yeah, but that's a really good tip for the listeners actually, is to be prepared. Take a little waterproof jacket in your bag just in case, whether it's, even if it's bright, isn't it? You still, be prepared, especially if you're going up quite high mountains or,
Absolutely, yeah. And also appropriate footwear as well is very important.
Yeah.
So, if you're planning on doing a walk up somewhere like Win Hill, then you'll need a good pair of walking boots.
Yeah, and it just makes it that much more enjoyable as well, doesn't it, when you're comfortable with the clothing and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And so when you guys, I guess you guys walk as a couple all the time, I'm sure, but is there times where you like to listen to music while you're hiking, or are you guys generally, the sounds of nature kind of people?
It would be more the sounds of nature for us while we're out there. We do listen to music.
Yeah, because it's a massive thing to you, isn't it? It's a big passion that you have.
Yeah, exactly. But that's more like, sort of like an indoor thing, or if we're coming back from somewhere on the train or going somewhere on the train. But when we actually get to the destination, the MP3 player goes back in the bag, and we're just listening to the lovely sounds of the birds singing, and if we're lucky enough to be near water, the river flowing.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's what you're there for, really, isn't it? When you go to the mountains, that's part and parcel of it, I guess, isn't it? Listening to the quietness.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
No, that's really nice, really nice. So the next question I've got for you guys, has there ever been a time in your life where you've just felt really grateful for the most simple things in life, whether that's an event you've experienced, a time you've been through? Has there just been a time where you've just felt really grateful for the most simple things?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, recently we contracted COVID-19. It's quite a nasty thing. It wasn't very pleasant, and at some points we had a bit of a scare. We thought we'd end up in hospital. Got quite close to it a couple of times. So I think the experience I think we don't appreciate things as much. Before we got COVID, you just take your health for granted. It really takes something that scares you and shakes you up to really make you feel grateful that you're alive and grateful for your health, and it puts everything into a new perspective.
No, absolutely. You don't. It's like you just said then. Until something goes wrong with your health, you like you say, you take it for granted, right? And
yeah.
You realise how important health is. It's number one, isn't it? Mind, body, and soul. I mean, you need to look after your mind. You need to look after your body and your soul.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. Oh, well, I hope you're both on the mend. I hope are you recovering now, or have you passed it?
We definitely, a lot better than we was. Lauren does still suffer from a little bit of breathlessness every now and then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, I had a bit of brain fog, I'd noticed. So I was struggling to remember, little things.
Right.
So that seems to be getting a bit better now. So hopefully, that'll continue to improve.
Yeah. Well, I wish you a healthy recovery.
Thank you.
And just going back to what we were talking about music before, obviously, Louisa, you're a massive music fan, and you used to DJ back in the day, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, back in my younger days.
Yeah, and that's something I used to do as well, funnily enough. It's something we have in common. And my question to you is, obviously we've touched on the fact that you suffer from anxiety. How did that affect you, like when you were DJing, when you were in the the busy bars or clubs or wherever you used to DJ? How did you deal with the busyness and that kind of thing?
Well, the anxiety got worse as I got older.
Okay.
So back at that time when I was, a lot younger, I was just sort of like living in the moment. So that sort of thing didn't bother me as much. And I think as well, when you have got a connection with music, like I have, you don't really tend to worry about who's around you. You just want to go out there, you want to do your thing.
Yeah.
Because music does make me, it can make me very confident as well.
Yeah.
But I think for me, as I've said, as I've got older, I'm realising more that I am an anxious person. And obviously I'm mellowing as well, in a lot of, not just the DJing, but a lot of things that I used to like when I was younger compared to now. A lot of things have changed. So I think that's just a natural life experience for me.
Yeah, and that's quite similar to me actually. I never thought I'd grow out of clubbing and wanting to be in the busy places and stuff. I thought that was me for life, but I've changed a lot in that way. I'll never say never. I'll never say I won't do it again.
Yeah. I'm
sure I will at some point, but yeah, I'm a lot more about the quietness and the peace and the hiking and getting out into nature now,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you say never, eh?
Yeah, before lockdown, I did, DJ it, did the odd few family, get-togethers. Sometimes I'd do them, and I still, still enjoy it. But say it's not something that I'd probably go back into, sort of like a club setting and do again.
Yeah, unless you're offered £1 million, right?
Well, yeah, I'd probably do that. Yeah, I could probably just about manage that.
Twist your arm.
Yeah.
And Lol, just turning it on to you for a minute. What's your favourite animal? I know you're a huge animal fan, so I know you weren't expecting this question, but what's your favourite animal?
Well, I have to say that my favourite animal would be a dog.
Yeah.
But I do keep fish, and that we do have cats.
Yeah.
I love me fish, so.
Yeah, I look after some fish in my work actually. I look after a young guy, and he's got a tank there full of fish, and I have to look after them when I'm there. So I dabble a little bit with that as well.
Yeah, it can be quite a job sometimes.
Yeah, I know it can. And what is it you like about dogs? Is it just their character? Is it just their personalities?
Yeah, it's both of those, but I just have a instant connection with a dog, and they just know what I'm thinking. I know what they're thinking. There's no pressure. It's just unconditional love.
Yeah.
It's just a very easy relationship.
Yeah, they're just so loyal, and they are what they are, aren't they? There's no messing with dogs.
Yeah.
They're just so loyal, so friendly, and yeah, I can agree with you there. They're beautiful animals. They're just born with love, and I always say that it's not a coincidence that dog is God backwards. Yeah, I've never heard of that one before.
Yeah, because they just we have to learn how to love and accept, whereas they're just born that way. Exactly,
you're absolutely right. I mean, my father's dog, it's such a beautiful little terrier, and when you look into her eyes, it's just so innocent and pure, Yeah. There's just nothing but innocence in her eyes. It's just so nice.
Yeah.
So I'm agreeing with you 100% on your choice of favourite animal there, I must say. Oh, well, cool, guys. Well, that's the end of the questions for you. I've got a little section at the end which I call Turn the Table, which is a section where the guests get to ask me a question if they want. They don't have to. That's me trying to get out of it, by the way. So if you've got a question, fire ahead.
Yeah. A question would be, so what inspired you to start a YouTube channel then?
Okay. Well, it was just over a year ago. I was in, my girlfriend's from Mexico, and I'd gone over to Mexico to visit her, and the town that she lives in, Playa del Carmen, it's full of amazing graffiti. I quite like graffiti and art and stuff like that. So I just decided one day, I said, should we go around and I'll just do a bit of filming the graffiti. And long story short, I did a video of that, you know, and it's I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and from that moment on, I just wanted to document our travels. We did travel every other month up until the pandemic hit. So that was in January last year I did that, and then we went on a trip to Sri Lanka in March, and I documented all of that and just thoroughly enjoyed it, you know. And that was it really. That was pretty much it. And then but obviously the pandemic hit, so I wasn't able to we weren't able to go on our travels, so to speak. So I've been doing a lot at home, you know, of my hikes around North Wales here, and other little bits and bobs. And yeah, I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. And I've always loved photography, you know. I've always been into photography, taking photos and things like that. And
yeah,
vlogging, to be honest, was something I'd thought about a good few years ago when I started traveling again. I'd thought about it, but at that point I really kind of wanted to put the camera down and immerse myself in all of the cultures and the countries I was in, rather than focusing on photography and videoing, you know.
Yeah,
that was just a little kind of time I went in my life where I just wanted to really put it down for a bit, which I kind of regret to a certain extent, because I could have got some amazing videos and photos from certain places, which I did get some, but not as many as I usually would have, you know. But now I'm really enjoying kind of taking the camera out again and being creative with videoing as well. You know, I've gotten into more kind of documentary style,
right? Yeah,
where I'm setting the camera up a lot more and getting things kind of out of focus and certain things in focus, and just trying to be more creative with it. And I just think, like yourselves, I'm guessing, you know, I find it very therapeutic when I'm hiking as well. It's like, it's a great hobby to have when you're hiking, I think, because you're hiking, you're getting all the fresh air, you're getting all of the scenery, and then when you get home, you've got a camera full of footage which you can put together and make an amazing video, well, hopefully an amazing video of what you've just done, and to share with other people, and to give other people ideas of places to go and things to do. Yeah,
definitely. And I think a YouTube channel as well can help, you know, express yourself, can't it? Because, you know, that's your channel.
Yeah.
So you can really, you know, put things across that you want people to see. And I'm sure you'll agree that the editing side of it can be a bit tedious sometimes.
It can be, yeah, it can be. I mean, it kind of depends, right? It depends on how the filming day's gone. I find if you've got loads of footage and you have to go through, I don't know, as I go along, I try and delete as many things as I can that I don't need, so that editing becomes a bit more simple, you know. Otherwise, if you end up with like 10 takes of the same thing and it's all, you've got to go through each one to think which one was the best.
Yeah.
It's I try and eliminate as much as I can while I'm filming, so that the editing process kind of becomes a little bit easier. But I sometimes enjoy it.
Yeah.
But then thinking back to the second to last one I did, which was a video of our trip in Iceland, that took a while to do, honestly. It took, and I couldn't see the end, I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel for a while, but then I got there and I was very happy with the result, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to have patience, haven't you? You know, you've got to have
definitely
patience to do that kind of thing. But once you start seeing it coming together and you start adding the music, and it's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that you have to get down to a fine art, because when I started editing, obviously I'd not done it before, so it was like, okay, and obviously experimenting as well and picking up tips and tricks as you go along. But I think now we're at a point where the videos that we make, compared to when we started, the videos that we make are more concise now. You know, they're not too lengthy. We aim for maybe about 10 to 12 minutes on average, if possible, depending on where we go and how much footage we've got. But yeah, as you say, once you've got the final product and you've got the music over it, then it makes it all worth it. And not just that, but obviously you've got the memories for yourself, haven't you, to look back on when you're older.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah. No, that's really nice. So did you do videos before Lol started walking with you, Lou?
When I was so when I was Lou's Travels, so I edited those ones, and then also the Lou and Lol's Travels ones.
Yeah. So your channel's called Lou and Lol's Travels, right, on YouTube?
Yeah, so Lou and Lol's Travels on YouTube, and if anyone would like to follow us on social media, we're also on Facebook, Lou and Lol's Travels, and also on Instagram.
Cool. And I'll leave the link in the show notes to all of them, to the Instagram, Facebook and YouTube, so everyone can get in touch with you via the links.
Yeah, no problem at all. Just one more thing that I did want to say. Just sort of coming back to the sort of mental health. So we've discussed about Lauren's Asperger's and Tourette's, and also my anxiety. There was actually an online campaign started earlier this year. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Show Us Your Brew, and it was started by it was someone called Jiffy from the Wild Camping Welshman channel.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically the aim of it was to raise awareness about mental health, and it really did go down a storm on YouTube.
Okay.
It was a bit like a domino effect. A lot of vloggers started, like, doing their own sort of takes on it. We've done our own take on it, and I just wanted to mention that, because I think nowadays, a lot of people unfortunately do suffer from mental health, and I think it's important to get that awareness, and talking about it can help. So our advice would be, if anyone is struggling, then just talk to somebody. Also on YouTube as well, if you put in hashtag Show Us Your Brew, it'll actually bring up like the videos that people have done on this subject.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just an amazing campaign. So thank you, so much to Jiffy for starting that. It's been absolutely brilliant.
No, that's cool. That's really, really nice. And like you say, it is really good to talk to people, and that's something I've learned myself in the last few years, in all honesty. I think lads in general, guys just kind of, they think they can deal with things themselves and they don't talk, and they just kind of get on with it, and
yeah.
But no, I've definitely become more like that as well, to reach out to people if there's something wrong, and two minds are better than one, right?
Exactly. And I mean, after lockdown, providing we're all right to go out again.
Yeah.
We are actually arranging like a meet-up with some of the vloggers that we connect with. That's going to be in Derbyshire as well. So, if anyone is in that region and they want to join us, they don't have to be a vlogger. They can just be a walker, or simply someone that just wants to come out for the day and have a bit of fun. Doesn't matter, why or what you do. You're more than welcome to come to that. We've got a few people at the minute lined up to go to that. So that's all good.
Oh, that sounds really cool. And how can people get in touch with you about that? Should they just message you on like Instagram or Facebook or something, or is there a specific kind of page for that?
Yeah, they can just pop us a message on Facebook or Instagram. That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
I mean, I know that it might be difficult for people that are probably not in, or around the Derbyshire area. But I say everyone is welcome to that.
Oh, that's great.
Date's not been confirmed, but we will, keep our pages updated with the information once we know. Sure.
Well, thanks for mentioning that, because that could be a real nice help to a lot of people.
Yeah, no problem at all. The more the merrier.
Yep. Brilliant. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you not just taking your time, but also talking, in a little bit of depth about your conditions and all of that kind of jazz. I really appreciate any of my guests talking about their personal lives. It's, it must take a lot, and it's really good that you've shared it with people. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, and thanks for having us on.
No worries.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yes. All right then. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, take care, Lol. Take care, Lou.
All
Bye.
right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Well, there you go. What a lovely couple. Both Lou and Lol have their own battles with getting outdoors, but it doesn't stop them. With plenty of planning and supporting each other, they're able to get into those hills and mountains for their meditation. Their courage and dedication is so inspiring that it shows you that if you really want to do something, you can, providing you're physically able to. Talking to these guys gives us yet another perspective of the problems some people face, even just to set foot out of the front door. Things most of us take for granted. We sometimes forget how difficult certain situations can be for some people, which in turn is a reality check for others. But like Lou and Lol said, once they're out there, it's the best feeling in the world and really helps them with their health and mental wellness. And don't forget, you can find the links to their social media pages in the show notes. Thank you once again for tuning in. If you want to join us over on Facebook and Instagram, then search for My Meditation Podcast. I'll leave the links to both in the show notes. as well as the link to the official My Meditation podcast channel, which you're more than welcome to subscribe to. The Facebook and Instagram page offer positive, inspiring and light-hearted quotes, photos and videos designed to bring a little happiness into your life. If you found any value from this podcast, I'd highly appreciate it if you could rate it and review it. And if you're feeling extra passionate, then please feel free to share it with the world and spread the word. It all helps the channel grow, which in turn means we can reach more people, which means helping more people. These podcasts are getting released every fortnight, so I hope you can join us for the next, and who knows, it could be about an interesting hobby or activity that could possibly be a life changer for you. Until then, take care and have fun, folks. Peace.